Oh, hi everyone, Silas Silence here, and welcome to this little game type thing called Blind Love. Before the story can begin, please tell us the main character's name and the name of the one they love. Please know the main character is male with a female lover before deciding. Okay. Let's do Silas. We're just gonna do Sebastian because I mean that is my partner, but even though it's a male and female, we're gonna make Sebastian female because why not? So main character Silas and their love is Sebastian. Now please know that this story was done for Game Jam and thus is very short. Nevertheless, the creator hopes you enjoy this short story. Okay.
I'm sorry. The chemicals that made contact with his eyes rendered him completely blind.
He's blind?
Sebastian. He's blind in such a female voice. I mean, he's not. Sebastian's non-binary. But
I'm
still.
afraid so. There's nothing we can do to save his eyes.
There's nothing you can do. Nothing. You can't just leave him like this.
Well, I mean, what do you? I mean, I understand that that's very traumatic, but what do you expect the doctor to do if they say they
I'm
can't do
sorry,
anything?
but his eyes are too damaged to fix. He is not able to even register hues anymore because of the damage. He won't ever be able to see again.
Hold on, let me see something real quick. Just gonna turn up the desktop audio just to make sure that you guys are able to hear it. I lost my eyes. I no longer got to see the world around me. I couldn't see the sun, the stars, the trees, my friends, my family, her, nothing. All because of a drunk driving accident. Oh, shit. I wanted to cry, I wanted to scream and curse the world, but what good would that have done? For what had I lost? I wasn't able to see the world anymore. I wasn't allowed to. I had to accept it. All I could do was sit in the hospital bed and make friends with the new darkness I was forced to see. I couldn't help but let wry smile grow on my lips, staring at the darkness in my mind. Not even my imagination could let me remember what the world looked like at that moment. How cruel. I heard a set of heels click their way towards me, growing louder and faster with each step. All at once, I was surrounded by a warm pair of arms with a body that crushed against mine. My body wanted to push away whoever was on me, but the scent of perfume I knew and loved reached my nose. I relaxed and the arms wrapped around me. Sebastian. Her weeping into my shoulder broke my heart. I couldn't remember when she came, but when she did, I remembered she let out a choked sob at what she saw. I could only imagine it, a bruised and damaged man in a hospital bed with wraps over his eyes and injections on every open stretch of skin on his body that wasn't covered. A scary sight indeed, especially if one in the bed was her boyfriend. It didn't help that she was a war veteran. She fought hard and was given honors on her leaving the army, but she never shook off the images of death and destruction engraved in her memory. I don't think anyone can shake off the memories like war. However, to see the one you love damaged and close to death was like watching a soldier fading away in the aftermath of battle. Her cries let me know that she was both happy I was alive, but heartbroken at the damage I endured and had to forever live with. And I could do nothing but hold her and let her weep. When she stopped, her embrace around me weakened, and I felt her pull away slightly. Her breath let me know that she was in front of me, staring into my wrap-covered eyes.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cry so much, but this whole thing is
unfair? I could hear her whimper a bit in reply, letting me assume that she was agreeing and fighting back tears again. I gently reached a hand up and tried to guide it to where her face was. As I neared, the warmth of her skin emitted. Her hand gently lifted my wrist and placed the palm over her cheek. I let a small but sad smile grow on my lips. I ran my thumb over her skin. She felt soft, but her hair was slightly damp from the tears she shed. What happened? We can't just live in regret of the pain. We can get through this. Her hand gently nodded against my hand, and I felt her nuzzle against my palm and my fingers lovingly, covering my hand with hers. I felt helpless. I wanted to tell her that I would be fine. I wanted to comfort her more than just this. However, the dark feeling of anger and sadness in my chest wasn't going away. It crawled around in my core and made me want to thrash around, screaming and cursing my situation. I didn't want it to affect her, so I simply caressed her cheek as calmly as I could. I had to be strong, if not for her, then for myself. That was 3 months ago. 3 months ago, my life without sight had begun. It wasn't life I wanted to start, but it was the life I had to live. Despite the fear behind the idea, living without sight was not as bad as people made it seem to be. I was given portable walking cane and even seeing eye dog. He was a very good dog, very loyal. His name was his name is going to be Lil Buddy, because that's what I call our lizard. I don't know, I'm not original, so we're gonna name him Lil Buddy. Lil Buddy became my best friend really quickly. According to Sebastian, he was a golden retriever, so he was extremely loving. He even enjoyed sitting near me as I worked. That's right, just because I was blind didn't mean I couldn't work. I had to raise the middle finger to so many people about the fact when they didn't believe me. I was a writer, blogging about my life and making progress on the story I hoped would sell well. Of course, to make ends meet, I was a journalist. Before the crash that took my eyes, I was the best in the field. After the crash, I was still the best. The news company I worked for was so relieved when I told them I could still write for them despite my lack of sight. How? A voice command program my family bought for me for my computer. They knew how important writing was to me, so they got it together and bought a program that allowed me to work with just my voice. It was pretty nifty to say the least. It would even read back emails and other things to me so I didn't feel lost. It was like Siri, only cooler. Still, waking up in the morning and doing my daily routine was hard. Even when I had my vision, I didn't want to leave my bed every morning. However, my alarm clock was not a friend to me. I woke up that day to the screeching of my alarm in my ear. As much as I needed to get up, I wanted the loud noise to stop. Punch it! Punch it! I lifted my fist and slammed it down on the alarm clock, turning it off. It wasn't hard to find it in one shot. It was the same place it had been for 3 months. Punching it was an idea, but I didn't want to break it. I needed it, despite its sadistic screaming. I finally rose from the bed, rubbed my face, trying to wipe the tiredness from it. My back ached and my legs didn't feel like walking, but my mind was set on writing another chapter of my story and finishing an article for work. Come on, lazy asses, let's move. 1 foot move across the bed to the edge, followed by another reluctance. My body slowly made its way off the bed, and I found myself standing on the cool wooden floor of the room. I tilted my head back and stretched, letting out a relaxed groan before shaking out my limbs and rubbing my neck. Work was calling my name, and I couldn't let it off the hook today. I began to recall my step pattern, listing out how many steps it took to get to the bathroom, then to the kitchen, then to my work desk. It took a while, but eventually I had the entire layout of my apartment memorized. I lived in a very nice studio apartment, fit for rich creative minds. I was paid very well for my writing work, but spent very little personally, so I had good money to spend on living expenses. If I wanted to, I could have gotten a house in the suburb like Sebastian. I made enough to where I could have owned a house. However, something about living in the city felt right. Besides, I didn't have to worry about heights. It's not like I could see out my window anyways. Following the morning routine, I went to the bathroom, brushed my teeth, stepped back out, went to the kitchen, and began to fix coffee. Living without seeing each object or surface I touched was hard, but I was careful enough to leave everything in the same spot each time I did something. It made it easier to find things later. The buttons on my coffee machine had markings on them, showing me which button did what. I went for my usual black coffee and poured my sugar and cream, conveniently placed by the machine, into my coffee mug. As my mug began to fill with the dark liquid of the gods, I began to go throughout my day. Work, walk little buddy, lunch, work, call Sebastian, dinner, bed. Yep, that sounds about right. My life and my daily schedule had to keep simple and memorize. If something was out of place, I'd have to rearrange mapping out my walking, or stop all my plans to figure it all out. However, sometimes I couldn't help a little detour. I want a donut. 2 steps right, and I was in front of the fridge. Opening the door, however, released a foul scent I couldn't help but gag at. Yeah, what is that smell? It was a smell of garlic, soy sauce, and rotten vegetables. Bad combo. My craving for donuts had disappeared, though. With a sigh, I held my breath and reached into the fridge. The smell practically covered the entire fridge, so I couldn't make out where it was inside. I had to trust my instincts. Fridge door shelf. My hand ran over item lying in the shelf, though it was positive I knew the smell wasn't from the condiments. Still, I took note of what I had. Ketchup, mustard, hot sauce, Parmesan cheese. No wins here. Bottom shelf. My hand skimmed over the objects and surfaces on the bottom shelf, letting me take note of what was there. Eggs, pack of microwave bacon, pack of microwave bacon, why? Fruit, all sealed, and was positive that they were not what I was looking for. Top shelf. My hand slowly wove through the items on the top shelf like a snake. Milk, cotton or orange juice, pack of string cheese, pack of yogurt. All these items were new, so they couldn't be rotten. Thankfully, they were sealed. Well, I made all the wrong choices. Instantly, my hand grazed over a container that was partially open. I knew I had found the culprit. Gotcha. I wrapped my hands around the container and pulled it out, sniffing gingerly. I gagged, but I was correct. I had found the smelly beast. I quickly made 4 steps to the left and guided my foot to the pedal that would lift the garbage bin's lid. However, my toes brushed against fur, causing me to stop. My paw had already pressed down on the pedal for me. Little buddy, thanks buddy. A friendly bark made me smile and tossed the containers of Chinese out. As the lid closed, I lowered my clean hand and reached for little buddy. He was intuitive enough to know what I wanted, so he lifted his head and bumped it under my palm. I gave little buddy a pet before going to the sink, 1 step to the left. As I turned on the water and washed my hands, my computer started playing a familiar tone. Oh crap. Answer. I shouted, hoping my computer's microphone would pick me up. As the tone stopped, I let out a sigh. My microphone had an amazing reach. When I was home, my phone was never on. I connected it to the messenger program, so I didn't have to fiddle with the buttons to answer calls. I dried my hands on the towel near the sink, and a voice came up on my computer.
Hey, you there?
A smile on my face, I left the kitchen, grabbing my coffee mug on the way out, and walked towards my desk. Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
Oh, great. You're up. Did you have your coffee?
Just made it. By the way, the Chinese food you left here yesterday went bad. I had to toss it out.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry. I hope it wasn't a problem. Shit, I'm such a dumbass.
No, it's fine. I got it and cleaned it out.
Still, I should have tossed it out. Sorry.
I knew she felt bad for ruining my routine, but something as bad as that was not a big deal. She was still sensitive about my limitations. She meant well. Still. So how was your day?
Well, my day was pretty okay. Got stuck in traffic the first part of the morning, but I managed to make it to the station.
Yeesh. I hope you weren't late to work.
No, I made it on time. I clocked in, but I got stuck hauling files up from the basement to the top floor.
Did they screw you over again?
Yeah, but luckily the boss found out and gave me a couple hours break, so I can come visit you if you want.
I'd love that. I could practically hear the smile grow on her face. She loved visiting me for some reason.
Alright, I'm going to let you go. Just wanted to check in and stuff.
Oh, okay. Thanks for calling.
Absolutely.
I love you. For a moment, I heard silence on the other end. Did I surprise her? We didn't say I love you often to each other. Many people think that couples need constant reminding to ensure their love. We were different. We didn't use that phrase often in order to keep its genuine meaning. To say it constantly makes the phrase lose meaning. I at least wanted the feeling of love to be the phrase in every time I said it. Finally, she spoke up. I could hear the love in her voice, and she repeated the phrase back to me.
I love you too.
We both said our byes, and she hung up, letting me have a chance to breathe out a sigh. A sip of my coffee made me relax, despite the caffeine wanting to work its magic on my brain. The taste gently swirled in my mouth and across my tongue. Coffee wasn't for everyone, but it definitely was for me. My mind began to wander to everything that was going on in my story, and what I had to do to make progress today. It was slow, but the story was getting to a very nice dramatic event where the hero would have to choose between staying with the love or trying to save his life. I wasn't sure, however, which road he was going to go on. He had many benefits on both sides, but the story had to end cleanly. I let out a sigh before turning back to my desk. As I turned to it, my messenger began to ring again. What the? Answer? I expected it to be Sebastian forgetting to tell me something or the like. This time, however, it was another person, a guy friend of mine named, Jordan.
Yo, you there, bud?
We had been friends for a couple years, and he was the second person to visit me after the accident, after Sebastian. He was an editor and advertised me like crazy to his social medias. I was lucky to have a friend like him. In work, I depended on him for my writing, and he depended on me for my skill. As a friend, we were like brothers. I was even his best man at his wedding to his partner, Tyler. It was a perfect friendship. Yeah, Jordan, I'm here. What's up?
Nothing much. I just wanted to check in on you.
I don't need checking in, dude. You'll get your chapter by tonight.
I know. Can't a friend just be concerned with how his friend is doing?
An actual visit would be nice. I haven't heard you play Dungeon Era in forever, and I'm desperate to know the ending.
I've been a bit busy, man. You understand, right? I promise. The next time I'm free, I'll come over and play Dungeon Era.
Alright, man. How have you been? Then came the free talking. I didn't chat often, so calls like these were nice. Sure, they scrambled my time a bit, but I didn't want to chain myself to a schedule all the time. Our chat was full of news from each other's lives. Jordan was, of course, delicate about talking about things requiring sight with me, which made me shake my head. I would never get used to the feeling like I was being handled with kid gloves. At the same time, however, I understood why. No one wanted to offend me, and I didn't want to get mad at the wrong thing. It was a safe balance. Still, it was good to talk to Jordan. For some reason, I felt good, despite my schedule for the day being thrown off. Maybe I need this break. My mind had been focused on the past recently. Perhaps this was karma telling me to relax and just let the day flow. Of course, I had to do some work, but I wasn't exactly backed into a wall by deadlines or anything. Maybe I should let my schedule die for today.
Hey, but I got a question for you. There's this writers gala happening this weekend, and I got invited since I'm an editor. Obviously, Tyler and I are going to go, but I was wondering if you wanted to come too.
Gala? Just my luck, a social event. It's not like I didn't like parties. In fact, I love going to parties. Sebastian usually came with me, and we'd practically steal the show from whoever we were attending it for. But that was when I still had my sight. The fancy outfits, the color of food tables, the lights, and everything visual about galas made them worth going to. When you can only see the world filled with one color, galas aren't exactly fun. I don't know, Jordan, it's just...
I know. I understand.
It's alright. He was just trying to be a good friend. I understand perfectly. I'll think about it, okay? I'll bring it up to Sebastian and we'll see what she thinks.
Sounds good.
As I finished my coffee, Jordan and I said our byes and ended the call. Getting checked in once in a while was a good reminder that I wasn't alone. That thought made me smile a bit. Alright, computer, open Word document chapter 7. My computer replied with a tone of acknowledgement, letting me know that it had been pulled and was ready to go. Repeat last paragraph. I listened to the computer's voice system, began to read the last paragraph I had written to me. The hero was torn between two situations. On one end, he had to save his kingdom from an incoming enemy army. On the other hand, the one he loved was in danger and needed him beside her. I sat, pondered both paths. If I saved the kingdom, he'd be able to save thousands of people, but his love would fade away. If he saved his love, he would be able to face his comrades again. He would never be able to face his comrades again for deserting them, and he would just be a wanderer for the rest of his life. It was a tough decision, but I was unsure how the story left unfolded. The words naturally flowed out of my mouth, letting my instinct take control of my story. So, I think I'm going to have to go with that they have to fight the enemy, because it's going to save thousands. Granted, it's his love, but thousands over one life? I'm sorry. His heart bled for his love, but he knew that he had to save his kingdom from being destroyed. His determination stood steadfast, completely filled his mind with his heart bled. I nodded to myself at what I had said. A little action, but a little remorse for drama. If romance came about, it had the chance to come later. The hero would face a hard trial at the end of his war. I thought about the two sentences I had said, noting the path of my story was going on. Did I really want to make my book like this? Would a story be intriguing enough for an audience to grasp? I let out a sigh and tried to relax. I knew I couldn't beat myself up over it. Nothing good would come from it. I continued to paint my story, following the path I had set for it. I didn't want to go back now. Sentence upon sentence flowed from my lips, carving out the world and spinning the tale desired to weave. Eventually, Sebastian did visit me. Little Buddy was very excited to see her and made it known with his happy barks. I was happy to see her, but Sebastian couldn't stay long. She told me that she had to return to work and get a head start on organizing the files she had retrieved that morning. Still, it was good to hear her voice and feel her embrace. I felt happy within her arms. The rest of the day came and went, with me dancing between work, walking and playing with Little Buddy, and eating. My life was simple and I enjoyed it. Many people dream of doing crazy things, but I was quite content with my simple pleasures. As dinner time came around, my previous ordered pizza had arrived for me. I uncontrollably began to think about Jordan's invitation. Laying the pizza box on my dining table and sitting down, I pondered the idea of going. I hadn't been to social events since the accident, and many people would want to see me, knowing how much Jordan spoke about me publicly. How would it be like? I walked in, unable to actually see anyone, and randomly feel people take my hand to shake or guide me somewhere. I wouldn't be able to bring Little Buddy because it was obviously a formal event. As much as Little Buddy was a good boy, he was still a dog. Well, maybe him being a service dog would be enough reason to let him in. I mean, it would. I shook my head. Formal event meant pompous attendees, which also meant allergies to excuses. I took a slice of pizza and a bit of piece of it, tasting delicious cheese and sauce meld together in my mouth. The local pizza place I ordered from was better than any chain pizza place by far. They proved it every time I ordered pizza from them. The pleasure of my dinner gave my taste bud distracted me from hearing my messenger go off. Quickly, I swallowed my food and commanded my computer to answer, being that I sat in the chair closest to my desk. I knew it was Sebastian, so I quickly grabbed a couple of slices of pizza, placed them on some napkins I had set next to the box, and walked over to sit down at my computer.
Hey, did you eat dinner?
I was literally stuffing my face a couple of seconds ago.
That's good, I guess. How's writing?
I might as well be the king of writing. I was beyond confident with my skills. The story I had woven was the best I could write, and no one could say otherwise. If there was any mistakes, which I doubted, then Jordan would fix them for me as my editor. That was what editors are for, right? But hey, I need to talk to you about something. Jordan invited me to a writer's gala.
He did? What did you tell him?
I said I'd think about it. I had to admit that I was curious about going. However, I wanted to hear what Sebastian had to say first. What do you think?
Me? Why do you want my opinion?
Because I want to know what you think. I valued her opinion and wanted to know what she thought of the situation, especially since she truly knew my predicament.
Well, I think you...
What?
I think you should, but I don't know. Will it just be him and you?
Well, if I went, I would want you to go with me. Besides... I wanted to go out with you for a while. I heard a muffled gasp from Sebastian's end, making me slightly smile. Was she blushing? I hope she was. But it was true. It had been forever since we went out. Might as well go out together at the gala.
Well, I guess I could go with you and help you around as your date.
So does that mean we're going?
I guess so. Oh, damn, what am I going to wear?
What about me? I'm afraid I'll put on the wrong blazer with the wrong pair of pants. I tried to joke around, but Sebastian didn't really find my blind jokes amusing. There were rare times she stifled at a laugh, but I eventually wanted her to relax about the ordeal. I was blind, but I was still the man she had been dating for years. Nothing had changed that. I heard her let out a sigh, one obviously in mild annoyance, before speaking
Are
again.
you sure you're up for it? It'll be the first time you've really been out in a long time.
I'm sure. I can't stay cooped up in here forever. I was right. I could recluse myself forever. I couldn't recluse myself forever. I had to really get out of the house, and the gala was the perfect way to do so. I was set. With Sebastian by my side, I would surely have a good time. The week ran by extremely fast. Sebastian arranged her entire schedule to make sure she could find a nice dress and help me with my outfit. I needed a new suit, so I went out and got one. According to both Sebastian and my dog giving his approval in the form of a bark I recognized, I looked damn good in my new suit. I began to memorize the fabric feel of my new blazer and slacks. I had to remember to match them instead of pairing the items with other articles of clothing. As a safety precaution, Sebastian set out right behind my bedroom door, separate from another outfit, so I can find it and not get confused. She was always a step ahead of me. Finally, the night of the gala had arrived. I had dressed up and made sure that I was entirely fit to go out. A friendly neighbor took in little Buddy for the night, letting me know that they were happy to see me finally go out. I let a smile grow on my lips at the statement. This was a good idea. This was a very good idea. A knock rapped on my door, ushering me to rush to the front to let in my visitor. I knew who it was, so I wanted to be quick, grabbing my keys and wallet at the same time. I wrapped my hand around the doorknob and turned, opening it and taking in the sudden scent of delicate perfume. I couldn't help but let out a pleased sigh at the scent. It was my favorite smell, and I knew exactly who was wearing it. You smell terrific. Sebastian let out a giggle and lightly slapped me on the shoulder.
Thank you. You look absolutely handsome.
I felt her lean against me, the fabric of her dress slightly rustling against my suit. I knew she wanted a kiss, but we had to get going soon. No, we can kiss. Fuck that. Kiss her. I wrapped my arms gently around her and kissed her, knowing her face would tilt to align my lips perfectly to hers. Just like saying I love you, we didn't kiss often. We wanted the kiss to be special, to carry our love perfectly. As she pulled away, I could hear a happy sigh escape her lips. I smiled. As weird as the statement is, her lips tasted divine. Come on. I gently pulled her hand and wrapped it under my arm, naturally wanting to be the guide. How ironic was the sight, a blind man leading his date. Sebastian giggled as she held to me, knowing that she'd be the one truly leading the march. As soon as I closed the door, off we went. Something in my head warned me, however, that tonight was important. It was like a premonition or a sign that the gala had a lot more in store than just drinking and socializing. That the night was going to be a life changer. Oh. Well, I guess that was it. So yeah, that was the story of Blind Love. It was kind of cute. I'm glad we decided to get him out and go to the gala because, you know, I feel like it was the best option. Well, anyways, if you guys like this video, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and let me know down what you thought down in the comments below. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye!